Hey everyone, a Complex back with another video, and today in Anthem, the season of Icetide has officially begun. That is right, Fort Tarsis and the Bastion both look absolutely beautiful, and with it we've got a few new seasonal events. We've got some free play stuff happening, but we also have some new stronghold stuff happening. Now, we haven't gotten a new stronghold, but over the next few weeks, each of these strongholds is going to get on a rotation, the Icetide treatment, if you will, and with it will come a series of challenges and different things in order to do to get a high score, very similar to what we had with the Cataclysm, but this is just per stronghold specific, and each week we are going to be getting a new stronghold. This is week 1, and we have the Heart of Rage as the first stronghold. So today, I want to walk you through everything that you need to know in order to help yourself get the best score possible in the Heart of Rage Stronghold. Now, when you load in, this is just like normal. Some things to note: that the gold orbs that used to just give points in the Cataclysm now give points and also will up your multiplier by a 1x. So as you can see, I have a gold note right here, and it has given me a 2x multiplier. In this starting area, before you get over to the first of the normal areas, you will have a 2 gold orb, so you should not start the first event before you have a 3x multiplier. Now, also, these golden orbs will kind of move. That first one that you saw me pick up, it doesn't really ever move, but this golden one over here can move around in this general area. So if you don't see it right where mine was, just kind of look around. You also have a lot of these boxes floating around, and they just drop blue somatic notes. Pick those up to help your score. And then in this little area, you have a puzzle. This is a memory flip puzzle. I know a lot of us probably did them when we were kids. What you're going to want to do is have 2 of these tiles flip over and have them be the matching symbols, and that will lock them in. So it's going to take some trial and error. Sometimes it's a little bit easier than others. And as a note, you kind of want to take this slow, only because if you go too fast, sometimes you might actually accidentally hit, like you can see I just did that there, the a different one than I meant to because of just how quickly you go. So kind of take it a little bit slower. You'll eventually start to match them up and lock them in. And then once you lock in the last 2 remaining symbols, the sphere above you will do the animation to open it up, very similar to what we had with the Cataclysm, and it will drop the gold orbs. The only thing to note is that these gold orbs will not up your multiplier. They are simply just to up your score. So once you've kind of finished all of this starter area, you're gonna head to what I call the first event. So there are 3 big events that happen within this stronghold in particular, and then you have the final boss fight. Now, as you can see on my screen right now, I have something called a bonus score multiplier with a timer on it. Now, you're gonna want to complete each of your events that have that bonus score multiplier before the timer is up in order to get an addition to your multiplier. So the only way that you're actually going to be getting your multiplier up this time around is by completing, like I said, the bonus score multiplier, getting the mini boss fight for each of the zones, as well as finding the gold orbs, and then there's 1 extra bonus right at the end. Now, to summon the mini boss in this area, you can see that I'm holding to interact with all of these red orbs, and these red orbs, you need to collect all of them, and then it will unlock the gate that summons the mini boss. You can see on that back wall the strip of triangles. That strip of triangles will light up or each of the triangles rather will light up per a orb that you get, so that way you know how many orbs are left, which is really nice. This is super solo player friendly and rando player friendly, so you can end up summoning the extra boss that happens here without actually needing to coordinate with your team, which is super nice. So once you have all of them lit up, you will see that you get the little target beacon over their head, so you just want to complete killing them as well as the event in order to get the additional 2x on your score. So as you can see, once we've killed him, our multiplier went up to 5x, and that's right about where you should be at this point in the event. Now, there is also a separate other mini boss that you're going to be able to spawn, and in order to do that, you need to, well, hunt down these little plushies. There are 3 in total. There is 1 here, 1 at the next event with the Titan, and then there's also 1 further on where you get the 2 Furies at the end. Now, each of those plushies, by the way, does have a variety of places that it can spawn in. So you're just going to want to look around really carefully. Normally they go up high in a like kind of crevice, nook cranny kind of thing. So if you can't find them, just keep searching. They are actually there. They are just sometimes very hard to spot. Now, as you noted probably back there, there is a gold orb back there and another trail of notes. If you noticed when you have the trail of notes, there is always one blue note to start. And if you follow and pick up the first blue note and keep picking them up as they turn blue instead of the green color that they normally start in, by the end you'll actually get a purple note, which is a really great way to up your score quickly. So just make sure you're paying attention to what order you are picking up the notes in. Now we've spawned into the second event, and now this, in order to summon the mini boss, you will see that there are a variety of weights, and then surrounding where the Titan is, there are pressure plates. So you're just going to want to put the weights on the pressure plate. And that will, once you have everything lit up, spawn the mini boss for this area. Now, you can note that there is a lit up area of triangles close to the Titan as well, just if you're curious as to how many you still have. Honestly, though, if you're playing with friends or anything like that and you get most of them on, you can just have one or two of your friends stand on the pressure plate, or you yourself can just stand on the last remaining one. So it's a really easy way to get it summoned without necessarily having to grab everything. And yes, the little elementals also are worth points. So if you see them spawned in, make sure that you're killing them to help up your score as well. And then, by the way, in this room, there is also a plushie to find. He is very hard to spot in this room sometimes. Like if you look directly up top where the Titan is, you will see that there is a like an arch kind of thing. And sometimes he can spawn way up there. He's also got the spot to spawn on just a variety of different like ledges around the arena where the Titan is. So just make sure you snag him while you're there in order to save time. If you forget to snag him, or you find at the end that you haven't, you can still backtrack, but it will eat up some of your time. So if you can just grab him while you're there, it'll make for an easier time in the end. Now, the next couple parts, this with the has a golden note in this room. So at this point, when you spawn into the room with just the bad dudes and a turret, you should be at a 9x multiplier, which is kind of what I do as a metric to know if like we're kind of right on schedule as far as keeping the multiplier up. So this room is the best gauge. If you hit 9x, you're doing really well. Now, nothing really happens in between here and then spawning into the last of the events. It's just pretty much killing everything and then getting to the room where you can't fly. There's no special events, no special anything. It's literally just the no flying and then just waiting for that to despawn. And then we're going to head over to the last of the events. So once you head up to the corridor right before the last area, there's another trail of notes to pick up, as well as a few more containers. And then there is also one more golden orb that you can pick up to up your multiplier. So before you start that final event, you should have a 10x multiplier. That golden orb, like I said, does move around. As you can see, he's kind of under that archway there, but just make sure you're looking out for him and you don't start the next event unless you are a 10x. Now, to spawn the last of the mini bosses within the events isn't too difficult. It's just going to take making sure that you don't lose the echoes that are floating around. You're going to need a total of 5 of them in order to spawn the boss. Now, between 2 and 3 of the relics generally are covered in the kind of crystals that we saw in the Cataclysm. Just pick up the bomb and place it next to the crystal, and it will blow it up, so in that way you can get access to the relic itself. And then you're just going to want to pick up the notes, and you're going to want to put them within the different relics. Now, if you can't find all 3 or 2 of the bombs that you need, don't worry, they will actually end up respawning, so you can keep doing the event as far as just like killing the bad dudes go, and then wait for the bomb to respawn and reuse it. So once you have all of the echoes within the relics, you will spawn the extra mini boss, and then once that mini boss has been spawned, somebody else in your group can absolutely just start pulling those echoes out of the relics and then putting them back into the main relic that we would normally do in order to silence it, which will spawn you the last 2 Furies, which will end up completing this event. Now, before you leave this room, make sure you grab the last of the plushies. He does kind of float around in a variety of spots. Like I said, this is probably the most common one that I found him in. Also, if you look where you had silenced the relic for the main event, to the right of that, kind of tucked away in the nook closer to the ground, is where we'd actually found him once. Now, by the time you leave this event, you should have a 12x multiplier in order to get the max multiplier. As you leave this little corridor, you'll notice kind of down to the left, there'll be a golden note as well as one more container to crack, and then it's time for the final surprise boss. Now head to the landing pad before you get to the monitor. You'll see on this wall the 3 triangles that are lit, and then there is one last plushie to shoot, and you'll get the 4th triangle lit, and then you'll spawn that last little mini boss. That is, in this event, a golden grab it, and you're gonna want to kill him because all the golden grab it keeps doing is spawning notes, which is awesome. So you're going to be upping your score by a lot. And also, killing this golden grab it will give you a 1x to your multiplier because he is considered a mini boss. So you can start killing the monitor with a 14x multiplier. Now, killing the monitor is just like you would normally do in a Heart of Rage Stronghold. Nothing is different there. But once you are done killing the monitor at the first stage, once the door opens, you're going to come into a corridor covered with lava. And when you get to this point, you will see that there's another trail of notes that you can pick up, and then there's also going to be one more golden orb, which is normally somewhere in this area in particular. You will see that there is actually a I kind of picked it up without even realizing it kind of thing, but that arch is generally where it is. Now, the one thing to note is that this trail of notes is actually backwards from what it normally is. Normally, when you first enter in, that first one is blue, whereas this time you actually have to go all the way to the end and then work your way backwards in order to get all the notes to turn blue and then to have the last one turn purple. Otherwise, you're just going to finish up this event like you normally would for killing the monitor in the Heart of Rage Stronghold. Remember, you just need to finish killing the monitor before the bonus score multiplier timer goes up in order to get your multiplier up to the 16x, which is the full multiplier for the event. And then, just like the Cataclysm and Season of Skulls Cataclysm, the higher the difficulty that you are playing on, the higher the bonus multiplier is, with GM3 having the highest. One other thing to note is that right now in GM3, all of the legendary drops that you could get are actually dropping at a +5 power level. So they're dropping just like the Cataclysm and Season of Skulls specialty items did, but now it's everything. So any weapon, any ability, anything like that that you pick up in a legendary drop in GM3 only is dropping at a +5 power, which is pretty awesome. So get out there, start grinding that GM3 so that way you can get yourself some pretty awesome gear at the 80 power. But y'all, that is gonna be it for me today. Hopefully this helped if you are having any trouble completing the Heart of Rage Stronghold for Icetide. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments down below or find me on Twitch. I do stream Anthem at least once a week. But thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and or day, depending on where you are in the world. And I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.